Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! Seconds from game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. Behind the screen, Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Tying run at second, 2 out, Pompero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it, and to the middle of the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5.
For the 3rd time in 6 seasons, it's one goal team. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. I'm your boy, the SuperBack. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Come on, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button. Now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But wait, there's more. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real, come on, guys. Go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the little bell next to it. And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. Now you can also tweet the show. Tweet us at Sports Zone Shy. That's CHI at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online. You want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. I mean, nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. Listen, I got a great show, but I need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you. So bring them all, baby. Questions, comments, smart-ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. Like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it. Just bring it. Man, let's check out the chat. Woo-wee! I like it. I like it a lot. Woo! Yes. So here's because very special days. The Bears victory chain Tuesday/Wednesday. It was a Bears victory Tuesday, victory chain day. That's what we got going today, baby. That's what we got going. Let's check out the chat because it seems like the chat is jumping already, and I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Black Diamond checking in. Said top of the morning, gang. Hell of a win the other night, but those refs shouldn't be allowed to ref a Pop Warner game, let alone an NFL game again. I am telling you. I'm saying, Black Diamond. I'm saying. Did you follow me? You follow me on Facebook, don't you, Black Diamond? You see the post I put? These refs are horseshit. That's a phrase from Coach Schaller. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, Coach Schaller. That was his favorite thing. Oh, that's horseshit. You call that a block? That's horseshit. And we didn't cry to our parents. We just did better. Period. Cornelius Squall in the house. What up, what up, what up? ShawnSierraSports fans. It's a Victory Chain Wednesday. You know it, baby. Let's go. Let's freaking go, baby. Let's freaking go. Mr. Southside himself, LaShawn Walls in the house. What up on a Victory Hump Day? Bear down FGB. That's what I'm talking about, baby. FGB. What? FGB. Mr. Shorty's in the house calling in from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Aren't you in Georgia, Shorty? Top of the morning to you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. You're like Shawn FGB. Could not agree with you more, my friend. FGB. My Meterio, a lot of again. I'm the third. He says hello to. He says hello to Cornelia. Fourth, he says hello to Shorty. He says Black Diamond. He says hello to man. Oh, all right. I guess I'm fourth. Fourth is good. Thanks, buddy. I guess that's what 27 years of friendship gets you. Oh, man. Bruja7's back in the chat. What's up, Baba? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Happy Bears Victory Wednesday. You got it, baby. You still got the Bears Victory chain on. Man, I am so fired up. God, we have a lot to talk about. Shorty says, see, compadre, I'm in the ATL area. ATL. What? ATL. Listen, I don't know a lot about a lot of this. More the usual suspects will chime in as the show goes on. That, my peoples, I can promise you. I don't know a lot about a lot. But more people will chime in, baby. That I know. Listen, we have a great show. At 10 o'clock, Glynn Morgan, Bears draft analyst, is going to join us. And we're going to talk all things Bears. We have a lot to talk about Bears. A lot. I want to address the Aikman tone. I want to address, and we'll talk about the response from Ben Johnson. There's a lot I want to discuss, and we'll talk with Glenn about it. And I'll talk a little bit more about it today as well before Glenn comes on. But I got a lot of problems with you people. All my Seinfeld fans, you know what I'm talking about. That's from. I got a lot of problems with these announcers. I got a lot of problems with these refs. And it goes with the territory. It goes with the territory. And Ben Johnson addressed it. He said something kind of off the chain, off the cuff, but then he kind of he gave the politically correct answer. And we'll talk about that as well. So we got a lot to talk about, baby. I am fired up. I don't know about you guys, but man, when that thing went through, I was cursing out Washington. I was cursing out the officials. It was therapeutic. It was therapeutic. Patty Lara's in the house. What's up, man? Thank you for tuning in. It's just morning, Theo Shawn. That means Jeremiah must be watching, and maybe Monica as well. Monica, Jeremiah, Patty, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let me just do this first. Because I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. Okay? I know we got Bulls to get to, we got baseball to get to, and we have a lot of Bears to get to, but I want to talk. I needed to discuss this. Black Diamond, you and I were here. We were here. Black Diamond said, Shawn, I was cursing everybody out, every Redskin fan, every player. I ain't mad at you, dog. I was in the bar, and I was just screaming. Dude, I swear, there was a young lady. There were two chairs. I was at the bar. So I was, and a young lady and her boyfriend, I assume her boyfriends, sat the young lady sitting literally right next to me. And then her boyfriend's on the other side. And I was yelling at the TV screen. I can see out of my periphery, like she'd be taken aback a little bit when I would yell something at the screen. Now, mind you, there's my guy Andy's got 20-something screens, okay? But I'm yelling at him. And I'm like, that's a bullshit call. Come on, Aaron Zone. How can you sit? Don't run through the zone. Sit. Bad throw, Caleb. He sat in his zone. You threw it like it was man. And it was funny because I could feel her just looking at me like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It was funny. Very, very, very funny. Because I'm animated. Like when I was in the press box, man, I'm telling you, you have no idea how difficult it is to not cheer. You can't cheer in the press box. It's a professional setting. You can't cheer. And the first time I was in there, literally the first 2 years ago, I forgot who the game was, and I screamed like, yes! And I was like, and two people turned and looked at me. And I was like, oh, shit. Damn it. I can't cheer in the first one. Oh! It was fun. Oh, my God. It was quite the learning experience, to say the least. But let me talk about something real quick. The officials were on one. And it's unfortunate. And I don't like, believe me, I'm a former player, I'm a former coach. Things I would always tell my players is don't give me as the officials. Don't use them as an excuse. All right, you have a job to do it. I don't want to hear about the officials. But my goodness, the blatant number of calls for the Bears versus the Redskins versus the Commanders was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. All these soft calls. Like there's common sense. Like I understand there's a letter of the law and there's rules. But there's also a thing called common sense. The Montez Sweat. Roughing the passer. Bullshit. He swiped down, had his hand on his head. He didn't even say he had his hand on his head and then just like muffed the side of his head. Now, listen, I understand. If it was a club, if he had come down and boom, hit him on the head, if it was a jolt, but it was more of a mush. Now, that's not, and the purpose of that, and here's why I get upset. The purpose of that is protect the quarterback. When you get muffed, you're not in danger of being hurt. You're not being attacked if you get muffed like Montez Sweat did. Now, again, so when it came down with a hammer or slapped the face mask or slapped his helmet, okay, fine. But because he was reaching trying to block the pass, he missed. His hand ended up on his helmet. He just mushed him, pushed him away. They called that. And I'm like, come on, dude. You have to understand, stop doing this dumb shit. Stop. It ruins the game. It ruins the experience. And if I'm coaching for Montez Sweat's defensive line coach, I'm like, keep your hand away. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. I know it's tough trying to get there. I know it's every play. Some plays you're so close, the ball gets released and you can't touch them. I get it. I understand the frustration. But don't do that. The Theo Benedict call that took away the touchdown from Rome Odunze would have given him a touchdown. As long as his head is past the butt, of the center. Basically, Troy Aikman said it right. If you can see any air between the center or the head of the helmet of the tackle and the butt of the center, he's too far back. It was stated that he was warned. All right, I was reading this morning. Said he was warned. I get my newspaper. I got to get my newspaper. Nine times for 84 yards. And here, this is according to Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. He said Rome Odunze's 11-yard TD catch in the third quarter was wiped out when left tackle Thea Benedict lined up too far back from the line of scrimmage. Johnson said Benedict had been warned earlier in the game about lining up too far back, a courtesy many officials afford players. Patrick Finley also writes, Alex Moore's crew is one of the most ticky-tack in the NFL, leading the league in penalties called and yardage accrued via flags. Johnson said he only turns calls into the NFL for review when he needs clarity on how to coach something, and noted there might have been one or two instances Monday that fit the bill. Steve-O says, yeah, the flag came out late also and not at the snap. It was a bullshit call. And there was no air between the helmet and the butt of the center. The helmet of the tackle and the butt of the center. There was no air. And this is what frustrates me and why I have a conspiracy theory about this shit being fixed. It's so bothersome to me. Very bothersome. Jason UK checking in, says, what's up, Bear fans? How you doing, buddy? Putting in. Rick coming in, starting this shit already. Hold on, fool. We sound like we lost the game. Let's celebrate the win and forget about the dumbass refs. FGB, LCBC. Oh, we're going to celebrate the win. I've been celebrating it. But I do need to point that out, that moving forward, this has to stop. This has to stop. These ticky-tack calls. Now, had we not kicked a field goal, and I know we're playing a revisionist game, all I'm saying is there have been plenty of games where we lost, and so many officials' calls influenced the game. Because you'll never put it on the refs. Because there's so many chances, opportunities to score. Okay, the Olamide drop. Whew. Yeah. Cornelia says, a Commanders podcaster had the nerve to say the Bears were lucky. Excuse me, the Commanders were lucky last year. In lucky, did he say how? Was he specific in the luck? Because when he shoved the ball down your goddamn throat, that's not luck. When DeAndre Swift puts it from a 50-yard field goal, a 50-plus yard field goal, and gains 13 or 15 yards late in the game, that's not luck. That's not luck. So it's easy to say it's luck because you lost. But you look at it, you're the number one rushing offense in the National Football League. We were the 31st ranked defense against the run. We outgained the Commanders on the ground. So no, there's no luck involved. You don't run You don't rush for 130-something, 150 yards on the ground by luck. Not in the NFL. So when people say that, you look at them and you say, you're just full of shit. Like, I understand I'm a homer. I love the Bears, but I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'll keep it a buck as far as what we do. 100 yards rushing to 124 rushing for Washington. You don't get 145 yards rushing by luck. Tell them 7.7 yards a carry ain't luck. So sit there and be sad that you got your ass handed to you and you lost in a way you didn't like, just like we lost it in a way we didn't like last year. Patty, this is hilarious. She says, funny story. My dad went into a bar in Wisconsin, used the restroom they had. Into a bar and used the restroom they had. Used the restroom they had at a chalkboard. He erased what they had on the board and put the Bears and FGB. Really big so that all would know FGB. That's awesome. That's awesome. Round of applause for your dad, Patty. So, yeah, I know we're talking about some of the other stuff, but here's what I want moving forward, because didn't I tell you we are in this was the beginning of a 5-game window before we hit our next division opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. This is a 5-game stretch that we can come out 5-0. If we come out 5-0, we'll have a 7-game win streak and we'll be the hottest topic in the NFL. The NFL is just better when the Bears are good. And I don't want terrible officiating to influence this streak, these next 4 games. That's why I mentioned it. Rick said, I must have been super high Monday because I thought Kyle Monunga had a hell of a game. But I checked the stats. He only had 19 yards rushing. Drugs are bad, kids. FGB. Kyle Monunga did have a really good game. But it wasn't just, don't forget, it's not just rushing, bro. Kyle Monunga had 1 catch for 25 yards. That screen. So you could have seen that. And Kyle Monunga had 5 for 19. That's 4 yards a carry. 3.8 to be exact. Not bad for the rookie. Not bad. He had a nice little game. He contributed, and that's what we want. But as I was saying, I just don't want this to be an issue. And the NFL has to step in now. Now, Ben Johnson, when asked about it, he was coy at first because he said he watched television tape of the second half, and he was asked about the tone of one Troy Aikman. And he said, the one thing he said that I really like, he's like, you know what? You got to earn their respect. In this league, you need to earn your respect. And we're trying to get to that point. I like it. I agree with him. And this is another reason why I am all on the Ben Johnson train. One of the main reasons. Let's not put it on the officials. Let's not put it on the announcers. The hell with them. Let's get our respect. How do you get respect? You got to win games. Because when Troy Aikman does our game later in the year, after we've won 6, 7 in a row, that tone's going to be a little different. And that's the only way you got to handle it. And that's the way you got to handle it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Cornelius says, Monangai was running hard, and if the offense keeps blocking the way they did Monday, he'll be fine. Yeah, offensive line. I'll tell you what, man. They took that shit personal. And hats off. Hats off to Dan Rochar, Ben Johnson, okay, for getting this team ready, going back and breaking it down. Now, what they did, I don't know. Did they break it down to the basics and go back to the fundamentals this past week? I don't know. But there sure as hell was something different about that offensive line. Sure as hell was something different about it. Darnell Wright was knocking people on the ground. Dude, he threw, I forgot, they had one play. He threw my man out the club. Defensive came in, he shoved him. It was a pass play too, and he shoved him. The dude went out of the screen. Just threw his ass out of the club. With the elbow brace. With the elbow brace he was wearing. I guess he got tired of all this Ozzie Trapillo talk and said, this right tackle job is mine. And that's exactly what Ryan Poles, as much shit as I give Ryan Poles, I have to give you credit. The one thing you've always said was you want to bring in competition. Well, guess what? That message was sent loud and clear to Darnell Wright. And Darnell Wright got the message, and he responded. This is what happens. This is what top-notch, world-class athletes do when you challenge them. They respond. Darnell Wright responded in a big way. Big way. I love the one runs, two wide receivers, crack back. It was pin and pull, crack back. Darnell Wright came out, blocked two guys as DeAndre Swift gained like 15, 20 yards. Now I just need to see that on a regular basis. Now you just need to be pissed off because you know you're better than everybody. Now I need to see you go destroy people because you know you can. That's the I go back and I talk about my Charger, my Thunder teams. We destroyed people because we knew we could. We respected the game enough to know that you don't give a team who should not be on the same field with you, you don't give them hope. You put them out of their misery early. And the Bears let these guys hang around with the help of the officials, of course. But the Bears let them hang around. Oladipo, number 14, my man. My man. What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Late in the game, in the fourth quarter, he had that crossing route. There was nobody around. DB was in trail position. Ball hits him. He catches it. He just continues going. The DBs who were covering the slot on the left side, because he came from the right, they still have their back to the line of scrimmage. He could have ran past them. It would have been about an 80, 95-yard touchdown run. These are the things that great teams do. These are the teams. And it'll look like, oh, they're pouring it on. No, it's not. Let's remember one thing. Jimmy Johnson said it best. I'll never forget it. When Miami was running up the score by beating people by 20 and 30 points, and the Cowboys were beating people back in the early 90s, he said, you know what? It's not my job to stop me from scoring. It's yours. And that resonated with me the rest of my career, coaching and playing. It's not my job to stop me from scoring. It's yours. And that's where Oladime has to get better. And remember, I told you we're going to see how focused they are. They weren't as focused as they needed to be. A lot of those players. Because of the mental mistakes. Because of the mushing of the quarterback by Montez Sweat. Because of the offensive line. Hey, if they told you once, don't do it again, Theo Benedette. If they gave you that warning about you lining up too far back, don't do it again. Rick, I couldn't agree more. He said, no more LB3. He wants Luther Burden III. Yes, sir, Bob. And I'll tell you what, they grew up. The Chicago Bears team grew up on Monday because any other team in the last 5 years would have lost that game. Any other team. And that comes from coaching. That comes from coaching and their belief in their coach. That's why I think we got the guy. Their belief in him didn't allow them to say, woe is me. Didn't allow them to say, damn, the refs are against us. Didn't allow them to say, holy cow, the weather's crappy. And then, in addition, that belief, good things happen. Because how many times would that have been us, the fumbled snap? If we were trying to just run the game out in the years past, how many times that would have been us? I don't care if it was Mitch. I don't care if it was Justin. I don't care if it was Caleb. I don't care if it was whoever the hell it was. That would have been us. The ball slips out of our hands on a handoff. That would have been us years ago. The last few years, that's us. That's happening to us years ago. It's not happening to us anymore. It's not. That's a big reason why people don't want to go in a shotgun, especially if you're trying to run out the game. King Booker World checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for tuning in, sir. Appreciate you. But shit is changing. It is changing. You see it before your eyes. How many times we see so many? We've been on the other side of that. We're getting all the calls. The ball's bouncing our way, and then we lose. If everything go our way, and then we lose. Not anymore. Now we're fighting. We're going through adversity. The repeated penalties. Some legit, most not. We still overcame those, stayed close, put ourselves in position to win, and we won. And we won. It with a kicker who got called up at 3 o'clock that day. Are you kidding me? 3 o'clock that day he got signed. He got brought up for the practice squad. 3 o'clock. Game's at 7. Like, here, sign this and get your ass out there and we can warm up. Basically how it was. Sign this contract and then get your ass out there and warm up. They're waiting for you. I'm surprised he didn't have a number like 93. You know what I mean? And then we won with a rookie kicker in terrible conditions, in the elements. These things don't happen to previous Bears teams. They don't. The opposite happens. Or he slips on the game-winning field goal. It's blocked again. The operation is bad. The holder misses the ball. The ball rolls back to the holder. Something happens to other Bears teams. Didn't happen to this team. And that, my peoples, let you know that things are different at House Hall. Things are different on that lakefront now for our boys or wherever they're playing. Listen, I got fired up. I got a little fired up. So here, we got to take a quick break. I got to get the Warden off to CrossFit. Okay? So on the other side of the break, we will get to the top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
Know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Okay, is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe. But some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're so
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
The top weapon for Caleb. Williams fires over the middle, and the former commander, Zacchaeus, is good for 11. Second down and 6. Back to Swift. And another first down for Chicago.
That was a nice change of pace.
On first down, Swift as they drop it off to him. Blockers out in front. Another first down, spinning. Second down and 5. End zone picked off. Intercepted by Brisker. Samuel was the target, and Brisker's out near the 35. And a 33-yard return. Samuel the target.
Welcome back to Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of ABC/ESPN. Those were the boys on Monday with a big win in the nation's capital. So let's get crack-a-lacking, baby. You know how we do. First segment of every show is called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Which way do we go? You know which way we're going. We're in but one place to go. This one, baby. Bears. The Bears defeated the Washington Commanders 25-24 on Monday Night Football. Caleb Williams, 17 of 29 for 252 yards, a tutty, and a 98.6 rating. He also had a rushing touchdown to go along with that as well. DeAndre Swift. What a game, young man. Have yourself a night. 17 carries, 108 yards. Hey, Rick, I guess we answered that question, huh? What's gonna happen first? And the answer, remember I said the answer was running DJ Moore or DeAndre Swift, who had 100 yards first, and I said DeAndre Swift. 17 carries, 108 yards. He also had 2 receptions for 67 yards and a touchdown. That 57-yarder was sweet. That's the one that Troy Aikman called, quote-unquote, luck. Lucky. Luther Burden, 4 catches, 51 yards. This is now, hey, who was that? Was that you, Rick? Said they wanted to see more. Yeah, you, Rick. Rick said, more LB3, please, FGB. Yes, that's why you want to see more Luther Burden III. That's why you want to see that joker in more often. 4 catches, 51 yards. Hell yeah. Oh, man, Jay Grizz checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Checking in from the city of brotherly love or brotherly shove over in Philly. Same with that. The next top of the morning topic, the Bears host the New Orleans Saints this Sunday at Soldier Field, high noon Central Time. You can catch that game locally on Fox 32 or listen to it on their flagship station, ESPN 1000. That's 1000 AM. And for that game, yeah, baby, it's here. It's official. Chicago Bears watch party and daytime event sponsored by Sports Zone Chicago. We'll have live pre, half, and post-game shows, swag giveaways. I just reached out to my dude yesterday. I said, I need this, this, and this for some swag giveaways. He's like, I got you. So we got some dope swag giveaways to get to raffle off on Sunday. DJs after the post-game. And when the Bears win, I'm telling you, this shit is going to be live. I'm telling you, it is going to be live. Then they have the game day special, $45, open bar for the game. It's beer and well drinks. Sorry, you're not getting Grey Goose or Kettle One vodka. It's well vodka. But it's open bar for the game or until the game ends. Because if you get there at 11 and you order, you can drink from 11 till the end of the game. You get a small order of nachos, and you also get one entree. You get either an order of barbecue ribs or an order of chicken wings. It's at Branding Iron, 7038 South Harlem. 7038 South Harlem, right in front of SeatGeek Stadium. It is going to be live. I'm telling you. Like Diamond said, you said, I will see you on Sunday. Dope, man. I am fired up, Papa. That is dope. Like Diamond said, Shawn, see you Sunday. I hope so. I hope you're there, baby. I hope you're there. Michelle Walls, try and get there. King, try and get there. Rick Gonzalez, try and get there. Jay Grizz, just hop on your private jet, bro. Stop bullshitting. Hop on your private jet and come on out. Bring the kids. It's an open. There's kids allowed there at school. And bring some cigars. Bro, it's just a short private jet ride over, bro. No biggie. No biggie. Sunday's going to be 65. Early showers, but it doesn't matter because it's a covered patio. It's a covered pavilion. It doesn't matter if it's raining. But it's going to rain early and then it's going to dry up after. So it'll be about 65 degrees. You wear a nice little jacket or a windbreaker or a quarter zip or zip up, and you're good. Jody said, if you're lucky, Shawn will give you the best cigar you've ever had. Jay Grizz like, give me the ribs. Bet. Black Diamond said, I gave you my word. Look forward to meeting you, dog. Look forward to meeting you. Jay Grizz said, much love, SuperBack. If we could, we would. Get your damn private jet out the shop, bro. Tell your mechanic to hurry up. Oh, shit. God. Sorry. Thank you. I just saw Jay Grizz. Happy victory chain. No, it wasn't order. He goes, how much for one rib? How much for one rib? Chris Tucker, Chris Rock. How much for one rib? Oh, my goodness. You see why I love doing the show? Yeah, I was slipping, bro. I was slipping. I had to get the warden off the CrossFit. I had to make sure she had water in her water bottle. And she didn't have her zip up that she always has. She puts it in her room. I said, don't leave it in your room. Leave it out here where your jackets are. So, and I forgot about it, bro. Yeah, I just forgot about it. It won't happen again. King Booker Will said, I sure am hungry. Oh, man. Let's keep it moving. Next top of the morning topic. Bulls. Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. The Bulls falls to the Denver Nuggets yesterday at the United Center, 124-117. Josh Giddey doing Josh Giddey things, 25 points, 9 rebounds, 6 helpers. Matas Buzelis contributed 20 points in the loss. Javon Carter, 17 points, and Nikola Vucevic, 5 points, 10 rebounds. Staying with the top of the morning topic, the next one is the Bulls. Their final preseason game tomorrow at the United Center as they face the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on Chicago Sports Network or listen to it on their flagship station, 670 a.m. Keeping it moving. The next top of the morning topic. The Blackhawks are in St. Louis facing the Blues. Hopefully they won't be singing the Blues tonight because puck drop is at 8:30 p.m. Central. You can catch that game on TNT or listen to it on their flagship station, 7:20 a.m.
Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay! Fuck Green Bay!
Listen, these are two of the items that we're going to be raffling off. Speaking of that chant, talked to my guy yesterday. He's sending that out. FGB hat. That's also going to be in the swag shop. I'm telling you, man, I wish I could just give you the link for that swag shop. There's a couple more. You'd be surprised how much red tape you got to go through and shit. But you're going to be able to order this hat. And you'll be able to order this hat. You might be able to win it. You have the opportunity to win it on Sunday, one of these two hats. All right, it's going to be fun. But you're going to be able to order those hats on the Sports Zone Chicago swag shop. It is, I'm telling you, the shit on there is dope. And then we got a bucket hat as well. Man, this shit is going. I'm telling you, it's going to be dope. Dope, dope, dope. Dope, dope, dope. What? Dope, dope, dope. You like that hat? Sports Zone Chicago Fire. It's tough. That hat, you like that hat? Yeah. So come on out on Sunday. Junior, tell Mondo to show up this time. It's not his birthday, so he can't be hung. Can't use the excuse he's hung over. Yeah, so we'll have those hats in different colors. We'll have them in red. We have them in gray, in black. I think I'm wearing a black one. I think I'm gonna wear the black one on Sunday. It's either the black one or I might wear my Bears hat. One of the I haven't decided yet. We'll see. Freaking guy's been ignoring his dada. You know why? Dada's being replaced by mommy. Hey, we were young. We know what that's about. We know what that's about, Junior. But listen, I'm fired up, man. I'm excited to go into this weekend. I'm fired up about it because now we get to build. And here's what I want. I don't want them to get too big for their britches. All right? I want them to continue working. I want them to focus on the most important game of the season is Sunday. That's the most important game of this season. Brandon Schutz checking in. What's up, Papa? How are you? Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Appreciate it. King Bookerwell says, don't think Coach Jay will let them get complacent. I hope not. I hope not, because the most important game that you have to play in your life is Sunday. Period. And there were a couple of situations on Monday where they weren't focused enough. They weren't locked in mentally. And that bothered me. They were still able to come out with a dub. But that bothered me. One thing I loved that running game. Oh, my God, Becky. That run game was nasty. Darnell Wright, message received. Oh, he got the message. Ozzie Trapillo taking my job? She. That's what he said. She. That's exactly what Darnell Wright said. You better move to the left side, youngster. She. I ain't giving up this job. And that's what you want. All right, DeAndre Swift, and he gets a lot of flack, and a lot of people just don't like him. I don't know why. He's running between the tackles. And yes, I get it. A lot of his yards came on the edge. Cool. If you can block it up and that's where you're going to get your yards, then fine. I don't have to have between the tackles. If I can get yards off tackle, I'm going to get my yards off tackle. And the way they were blocking it up, those run fits were great on Monday. Brandon, they're playing at noon on Monday. Sunday, they're playing at noon. Those run fits that the Bears had on Monday night were great. The combo blocks were beautiful. Hit the nose guard. Centers go up to the next level, get the linebacker. It was amazing. That was poetry in motion. That was poetry in motion. Oh, no, I didn't forget it, Cornelius. Cornelius said don't overlook the receivers. They're blocking their asses off too. Oh, hell no. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden. You don't have those 15-yard runs, those multiple 10 to 15-yard runs that we had if you're not blocking with the receivers. If they're not blocking out on the perimeter. DJ Moore did a great job. Roma Dunze did a great job. We had a Colston Loveland sighting. He had a key third down catch. So I didn't forget them at all, Cornelius. No way. But the thing that I liked most was that they dictated the tempo. They controlled the line of scrimmage. And I remember I gave them a lot of shit on Friday and Monday before the game. Like, we paid you a lot of money, 2 guards and center. Jackson, Dahlman, Tunney, we paid you a lot of money, and you weren't playing for crap. Well, the adjustments that they made, and that's another thing. We have a coaching staff that can make adjustments. We saw that in games. Now we want to see what you can do off a bye. He came off the bye. They made great adjustments to that run game. Yes, Rick, we even had a Roshan Johnson sighting. He carried the ball. I was like, are you kidding me? With your Gazoo helmet? And a big old Gazoo. Hello, dum-dums. Some of you might not know who Gazoo is. Us of a certain age know who Gazoo is. Hello, dum-dums. But damn, that's what I'm talking about. They made adjustments. You didn't have any extra time because you're not practicing over the break. Black Diamond, the Flintstones. Yes, you are correct, sir. They made the adjustments, and the run fits were so much better. So much better. It looked like, I'm telling you, these next 4 games, we can come out 5. Does anyone not believe me? And I'm not saying this because I'm a Bears fan. I'm saying this because I see the way this offensive line blocked. I see the way the receivers have blocked. I see the way these running backs are running, and we can win the next 4 games in a row. From a big picture, I'm only worried about New Orleans right now. But we can win the next 4 games, and that'll give us a 7-game winning streak. First things first. Papa freaks off. No. Sunday, the Saints. And that guys got to focus on. They got to come out more intense, more focused, because as I said, there were a couple times they weren't as locked in, and by all those cheap penalties and a couple of blown assignments. That. And trust me, they will get those squared away. All they got to do. This team is incredibly ordinary. Nothing special about the Saints. Offensively, defensively, special team-wise, there's nothing special like, oh, shit, we got to worry about it. But given the respect they deserve, they're a professional team too. You prepare like you're playing. Here's where you go from a good team to a great team. Your level of preparation isn't contingent on who you play. That's what Ben has to get across to these guys. How I prepare has nothing to do with who I'm playing. Everybody's getting my best effort. Everyone's getting our Chicago Bears our best effort. And if that means you're getting blown out, then you're getting blown out. If that means it's going to be a close game, then it's going to be a close game. But we're going to prepare the same every week. And if they do that, they're going to come out with a lot more wins for the rest of the season than losses. That, my peoples, I can promise you. I can promise you another thing, too. My man Glynn Morgan is going to join us on the other side of the break, and we're going to continue this conversation because you got me fired up. Just the thought of a 7-game winning streak, just the thought of smacking their Commanders in the mouth, outgaining the number 1 rushing team in the NFL with a running back who nobody likes. We need more running backs. We need more running backs. DeAndre Swift said, hold my beer. I got you. We need more running backs. I got you there, buddy. So don't go anywhere, folks. On the other side of the break, my man Glynn Morgan, Bears draft analyst, is going to join us. So keep it locked right here. ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
How do you take care of your mind health?
For my mental health, I meditate in the mornings. I have my dogs. They're the best. I just find ways that help me just relax.
Finding things that make me happy, like being close to my family.
I meditate a lot and read books.
I have hobbies outside of the game. I'm able to switch off. I'm able to turn my brain off from the game of basketball.
Your mind health matters.
Your mind health matters.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport like that.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, no matter where we serve, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Everybody in a work zone is someone somebody.
This is my mom. She works for KDOT.
This is my dad.
This is my mom.
This is my daddy.
This is my sister.
This is my daddy.
This is my son, Scott. He was killed while working in a highway work zone. When you drive through a work zone, drive like a life depends on it. Because it does.
That was a team win.
Yes, sir.
All three phases.
Yes, sir.
It took all three phases to win that game. And man, let me just tell you this. Just imagine when we clean up these penalties. You guys understand where we're going, right? Some people might say takeaways are lucky. They are not lucky. You earn those things every single week, and we got a trend going right now. Three-piece. A three-piece. Best part of the game was this. Did it go up and down? Yeah. You never blinked. Not for a second. Not for 1 second. Nice and steady, nice and calm the entire way through. And you know what? Whatever it took, we found a way. Whatever it took, we found a freaking way. I'm telling you, welcome back to ShawnSierraSports on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Chicago Bears. That was the post-game locker room. And Ben Johnson gets me fired up. I love listening to that dude. Except for his better. Yeah, that's stupid. But the guys rally around it. It's cool. It's cool for them. It works for them. It works for them. I think it's corny, cheesy, but hey, if it works, don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. My next guest is a good friend of the program. You've seen him. He's been on here plenty of times, and I love talking Bears football with him. Bears draft analyst, co-host of the Easy Smoke and GM podcast. Let's welcome back to ShawnSierraSports. My man's in them. He's another one like him, Ken Davis. I know there's got to be another one. Those are guys. Those are my man's in them. Not just my guy, but that's my man's in them. Glynn Morgan. Glynn, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you feel, man?
I'm good, dude.
Appreciate that. I'm glad to be in the club, man. I'm glad to be a part of an exclusive club that is only two people you can think of. You know, don't think about nobody else. I'm good. Leave it at that exclusivity right there. I'm great.
Hey, man, big time win by the Bears Monday night. Walk-off field goal with a guy they signed 20 minutes before kickoff. Okay. Talk to me about your concern with a couple of things. One, going back to DC with the scene of the crime, the embarrassment last year. Two, the elements. And three, the only reason I mentioned the elements, because you had a kicker that you signed literally at 3 o'clock before the game.
Right. Karma's a motherfucker. That's what I got to say about that.
Ain't it?
I mean, it is. It's a mofo. Yeah, I mean, what goes around comes around. It's ironic. You know, it's. I'm laughing. I'm chuckling when the game is done for a couple of reasons. And I'll just talk about the weather. You know, Cliff Kingsbury's done a really good job since he's been with Washington. And, you know, he's had a pretty, you know, decent career as a coordinator, you know, so on and so forth. But that's the problem sometimes when you're not under center. And you saw it happen live, you know, if you're watching the game. And I know Jaden says, you know, he had a moment of focus that he lost. I get that. He's taking the, you know, accountability for the mistake. But sometimes it's not always you, bro. Sometimes it's a situation that you're put into. And when the game is that close, when you can seal it away by just running the ball, which is basically what they were doing, why put that element in there? To me, it's the same thing as if you're running the ball, but you do a toss sweep. Why do a toss sweep when you're controlling it and it's late in the game? There's a chance that anything can happen. This was similar to that. It wasn't a toss sweep, but the ball's in the air.
Ball's in the air. Bingo.
Funny things can happen. You know, wind, a gust, slippery, it's wet, all these different things. And it's exactly what happened. So to me, it's like, wow, you guys had the game won, but you know, karma, like I say, is a mofo. As far as other things I was concerned about, there's a lot that was good. You know, inevitably because of the win, we feel that way. But as you're watching it, the mistakes, the penalties, and now some of them, let's be real, the officiating, and I'm not just saying this as a Bears fan, it was both ways a little bit. Some of the officiating calls, I'm like, dude, like, really? Are you making that tic-tac call? Like, that's not pass interference.
I said the same thing, Glenn. I said I forgot what call it was. I'm like, I'll take it. It was a defensive holding that gave us a first down, 5 yards automatic. I'm like, that was crap. I'm like, it's good for us. I'll take it. I'm like, here's what I put. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, here's what I posted. They got tons of likes.
Right. Yeah. I think I saw something similar to that pretty much that evening. And, you know, in the replay, and I'm not putting it all on the head linesman or the head official, but they put it at the bottom, first year in the NFL. So I'm like,
first year referee. Yeah.
I'm like, really? First year referee, you got the main gig? Okay. But I'm not putting that on him because he's just the one, you know, relaying what calls were given to him. But some of the calls were crappy. You know, even the touchdown that was taken away, I'm like, how was Bennett offsides? I'm like, I thought maybe he moved back quick, but he didn't. And if he was offside, I'm like, and even the announcer said it looked like the receiver might have been more offline than Bennett was. So Benedict was. So yeah, tic-tacky stuff like that. I'm like, you know, there's refereeing, there's officiating. You know, be a ref, don't over officiate. You know, you gotta let the game play and let these players play, especially, you know, when you have a situation where, you know, I hate to say it, sometimes I don't want the NFL to become the NBA where you officiate players differently. You know, I don't. So I want them to do it equally, but sometimes you still have to let the game play and let the game be. And I feel at times that game was a bit over officiated. Sometimes that leads to players making mistakes too because they're doing extra stuff. Brisker, the issue is Brisker having him back is great, and maybe his timing's off a bit, but there were a few times where he kind of got torched. You know, the touchdown he gave up in the corner of the end zone, that was kind of a great catch. But he actually could have been called for defensive interference, I thought, on that one. They didn't call it. Guy made the catch. And then the touchdown pass in the back of the end zone, they kind of put it on Edwards, kind of clearing out. But Brisker got faked out his shoes. When he leveraged inside of Brisker. He faked right and then went to Brisker's. He faked to Brisker's left and went right and cut inside Brisker. His pass coverage is still part of the game he has to work on. So that defensively was about the only thing. I thought the Bears did a really good job containing the run. Washington still got about 124 yards running, and there's sometimes they have some big runs. But keep in mind, probably 2 or 3 of those were Jaden Daniels making something happen because everything broke down. You know, they did a good job containing the run. They really did. And when I say good job, I mean compared to where they were at the beginning of the year. You know, and each week is getting a little bit better. And what I saw with this defense, they're looking more like they know where their teammates, where everyone is supposed to be. They're playing with more assurance about what their duties are and what their teammates' duties are. It's one thing to know what you have to do. When you become a better defense is when you know everyone else's job. Not that you're trying to do it, but you know where everyone is supposed to be, and you can work in synchronicity. And you're starting to
make decisions knowing where your people are.
Exactly. That's like I say, working in synchronicity with one another. So you're starting to see that. If you really go back, if you just watch each of the games, you can replay them and watch them. You'll see they're getting better with their communication and better about where they're at. So those things are good. But the penalties, I'm concerned about that. There's still an issue. And every week it said, hey, when we clean this up, well, you know, no time like the present. You know, you're coming off a bye week. You shouldn't be having, you know, X number of penalties. And the other thing that concerns me, please stop running DJ Moore as a halfback. Please just stop.
My goodness gracious.
Just stop. He's not Deebo Samuels. I understand he has a body that looks like it could be a halfback. I understand he's really good after the catch, and he's really good with the ball in his hands, but that's after the catch with the ball in his hands in open space, not trying to find a hole to run through. Stop doing it. It's not high school. Okay, it's just the pros.
Yes.
Stop. Yes. And if that's the case, and I know you said, you know, hey, Swift did great. We don't need more. No, clearly we need more running backs, and we got DJ Moore running as a running back. Do not put your wide receiver as a running back. We need more RBs.
You mean their $111 million wide receiver?
Yeah, exactly. Who you're not throwing to? Yeah.
The one your quarterback ignores? Yeah, that one?
So, but yeah, man, but overall, incrementally, we're seeing this team become a better team and better at winning. I hate to overuse, you know, phraseology of culture building. I get why we say it, but to me, it's more about your atmosphere and more about the environment. And I understand it's a part of the culture, but really it's the environment. And this is a better environment. And it's not happening overnight, you know, and that's what I like too. I don't like the instant gratification wins where you seem like you're better than what you really are. No, this team is not good. The last two games, 25-24. Okay, you know, it's not where it needs to be, but incrementally it's getting better. And the Bears, as you alluded to, are about to come into a stretch of games where beginning of the season it looked a little daunting. Sans, you know, the Saints and the Giants, but beyond that, it looked like it could be really problematic. You know, Baltimore is looking very winnable. You know, I know they're going to be coming off of a bye, and Lamar may be healthy, but their defense has been trash all year. I don't know that you're going to fix all that, you know, in one bye week.
Yep.
And then the other teams aren't looking as daunting. Even Philadelphia isn't looking as daunting. So all these games are winnable. There isn't a team on the rest of the schedule where I don't think the Bears can't win the game. I'm not saying they're going to, but I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to tell me 15-2, I'm gonna laugh. But you know, I'll be like, hey, it sounds funny, but 11-6 don't sound so crazy now. 10-7 seems like that's where you should at least be. So, and that's a testament to these players playing throughout, and again, creating an environment and an atmosphere where the mindset is how are we going to win this game, not how are we going to lose this game. And that's what we saw the last several seasons.
Yeah, and he said it in the break. He said you never blinked once. And even when they went down and fans were like, oh shit, here it goes again, they didn't have that same mentality. They're like, okay, like you said, how can we win this game? What do we need to do? Yeah, they got some divine intervention from the fumble. But you said you put yourself in that position, Washington, having a ball in the air to the quarterback. Okay, hey, you know what? Just like we put ourselves in a position with Tyreek not being with his back to the
to the game,
and then being and jumping where he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be in back. Those are decisions that Tyreek made that ruined it for us last year. Those are decisions that they made to have Jaden Daniels in shotgun. The decisions, and you know the repercussions because the weather was not nice. The weather was rainy. The balls were no diddy. The balls were slick. Okay, you have to make sure that you can grasp the football as it gets snapped back to you. And in conditions like that, it's a 50-50 shot. And those are the decisions. When you say luck, like no, you have to understand. You make these decisions. What's the worst that can happen? Well, Worst that can happen is the ball can slip through your hands as you go back as it snap back to the quarterback, and guess what? It happened. So it's unlikely, but you know what? My man Jay Grizz said it earlier, and I said it as well, and this is so true, Glenn. The bounces are starting to break the Bears' way.
You know what? They are, but you have to create that. I'm about to overuse what I've been saying today. You have to create that kind of environment, that kind of atmosphere, that kind of mindset. You know, I used to hate it when I was a kid when the Boston Celtics, it just seemed like everything would bounce their way. And as a kid, I couldn't understand it. I'm like, man, they're so lucky. Yeah, the Larry Bird, they're so lucky. Oh, it bounced their way. Oh, the leprechaun. You know, it didn't help that the icon or the mascot was a leprechaun. All this stuff. As a kid, you know, you don't understand the nuances. As an adult or as a grown young man into an adult, you start to see where the effort helps manifest those things. You know, you got to put the effort. You create your situation, you create an environment, you create a type of attitude that these things can and do happen for you. You see with the Chiefs now, seems like all the breaks go their way. You see it with the 49ers. And sometimes, and this is maybe a stretch, but sometimes I think it affects peripherally the people around you. And what I mean by that, not so much the players on the team, definitely they have the mindset, but sometimes the refs may call. You get the benefit of the doubt sometimes with the call. You know, you get the benefit of the doubt sometimes even from the media or from the announcers in the game or you know, other things. It just seems like it seems like, why do these teams that seem to have everything going for them, they don't need more additional help, they don't need the extra help? Well, they're creating it. They have that environment, they have that aura around them, and that's what you're starting to see develop here in Chicago. A different kind of aura, a different kind of glow, as you will. If I'm going to go back to The Last Dragon, you got that glow, you got that glow. You know, you're starting to have this aura when you ask, who's the man? You know, sure enough, you know, it's just like, you know, who's the master? You know, sure enough. So, but it's all seriousness. The Bears are creating a better aura, and it's a winning aura, and it's one where you're seeing DJ Moore sacrifice his body essentially on the Monday night game, where he's hurt, you know, before, you know, most of the game is being played, and he continues to play with the strain growing. Let me tell you, I've done that, and it's not pleasant. And he's out there running, sacrificing, and blocking, not even getting the ball thrown his way. And he doesn't do that last year. Maybe he doesn't do that the year before, because there's a different aura, there's a different feel, it's a different vibe, it's a different energy. And that's something that I think as fans and as even, you know, objective observers, if we call ourselves that, you can start to see that now where you didn't see before. And a lot of that is because of the head coach. It starts from the top down, and you're starting to see that, and the players are believing. And I know you said it's cheesy, the better best thing. A lot of people I know say it's cheesy, but I promise you, man, I kind of like it, man. And you hear the players, they're getting into it. They say it a lot loud, like it's gotten louder each week, you know. And I think it's never let it run. Never let it run. Good gets better. Good gets better. You better get better. You better get better. Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you know, because it may be high school, it may be Pee Wee, but when you're in it, when you're in the trenches, so to speak, you know, when you're involved, when you're sacrificing for one another, when every win isn't a gimme, you believe it, because you're like, yeah, we had to do all that. We had to give our best. We had to be better than we gotta keep being better. And here's a great thing I like about the fact that the Bears aren't winning these games like they did against Dallas. That means they go into each game not being overconfident. They go into each game knowing, you know what, we're not there yet. We haven't gotten to our best yet. We haven't given our best yet. And that mantra, you know, it's just being said in their head without hearing it as they're out there on the field and not blinking. They're like, no, I got to give more. And they're starting to believe. And again, that's an environment. That's an attitude. That's an aura. All these things are being created as we see it right now from game to game.
I think there is a lot of confidence that's being built. Not confidence or arrogance, but there's a lot of confidence. The only way you get confidence is when you accomplish goals, when you win. Because you can have that false bravado. I know I'm this, I know I'm that, but in the back of your mind, you're literally just faking it till you make it. Until you start seeing actual results, that's where your true confidence comes in. Mm-hmm. Bears, you go on the last couple games and you find ways to win. You're not arrogant or cocky, but you say, hey, listen, we can go into a one-score game and play well. No pressure, because we've done it before. We've done it the last 2 weeks. This is what I love about it, and this is where that real confidence comes in. And my excuse me, my biggest hope is that Coach Ben Johnson has these guys saying, look, this is a team that sucks. We need to jump on them and beat the hell out of them early. Okay? I love being transparent with your players. Like, this team's not good. Okay? Are you going to lower your level of play to theirs, or are you going to keep it at ours? Because if we keep the level of play at ours, they don't have a chance. And I said earlier, I'm like, your level of preparation should never be dictated by your opponent. Should never be dictated. Your level of preparation, your weekly preparation should be one level, and that's the standards that you have set. Every week it's got to be that way. And if that game comes down to a blowout, you blowing someone out, good. If that comes out to a close game, you win or lose, good. If it comes out to where you get blown out just because it wasn't your day, fine. But just keep preparing with championship in a championship manner, and let them and do not take these guys lightly. I said the last couple of weeks, make sure you give your opponent the respect that they deserve with your preparation. And if they do, this team can go really far. I said this, they just started that stretch starting on Monday of 5 games before we hit the Vikings, our division foes. We could go 5-0. I said 3-2 minimum, most likely 4-1. We could go 5-0 because you mentioned Baltimore looks horrible, which is why I said earlier, this is why you can't go on strength of schedule. Everyone says, oh, the Bears strength of schedule. Oh, they have a tough schedule. Like, you don't know shit.
You don't know.
You don't know who's going to get hurt. You don't know what team's having a down year. You just don't know. So stop with the nonsense. But I love what they're doing. I love the confidence they're gaining, because now they feel Caleb is getting more emboldened, and not in a bad way, that I can bring this team back. And I know it was mostly DeAndre Swift, but man, Caleb had a lot of throws completing third down to Colston Loveland, okay? To that one to Oladipo that he dropped. That would have been a huge one. But talk to me about Caleb's confidence going home and putting up good numbers, 252 with a tutty.
Yeah, again, you talked about it. You alluded to it earlier, returning to the scene of the crime. And so that could play in your mind psychologically if you allow it. I mean, Caleb probably came away thinking last year, how did we lose this game? I shouldn't have lost this game. Probably the same way Jaden Daniels feels after Monday. Like, man, that was him, probably more on him. As a Caleb, it was like out of my hands. Like, I don't even know how we lost this. So that could play in your mind a bit. But I really think with Caleb, every week it's about being better, and making better decisions. He's getting better, I think, with his decision-making when it comes to passing the ball. I think the RPOs, he's still not quite making the right reads at times. I mean, he got lucky he didn't throw a pick that one near the goal line. And it's like Sanders still just went through his hands. Like he had no business. It was like he was already predetermined, I'm going to fake this handoff and throw it. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So he's got, and there's a couple of times where one time he handed the ball off and he should have kept it. I said, man, if you kept that, you'd have been running good 6, 7, 8 yards with nobody even around you. So he still needs to work on that RPO, that aspect of his game. But I see each week him becoming a better decision maker. Like I said before, definitely with passing the ball. His accuracy, a lot of quarterbacks, if you watched enough NFL, they're going to miss some throws. It happens. And I'm not giving him any excuses. I'm just saying I'm not going to kill him for it as long as he gets better at missing less. Everybody can't be Aaron Rodgers where you're 24 for 21 and 32 for 35. I mean, it takes a moment. Even Aaron Rodgers took a moment before he got there. And I know Caleb only completed about 58% of his passes, but keep in mind he had some bad drops, and then he had a touchdown call back against him. So 3-4 more receptions, and now all of a sudden you're talking 64 or 66%, and you're not saying we're not having this conversation about his passing percentage. So I like the fact that he's starting to disseminate the ball a little bit more. Luther Burden is starting to be involved in the game more. I think with Zacchaeus, I don't know. I hope that doesn't work against him because he has. It's funny because some of the drops, the one real bad drop was definitely on Zacchaeus. A couple of other ones that was Caleb kind of throwing behind him a little bit. So their timing is off. So to me, it's more of a, repetition, but not so much when you're doing practicing. It's more like game time stuff. And it's still a new system, man. He's still learning how to play at times with his back to the play when he does play action. He's still learning how to read when he's under center. So I mean, man, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's completed about 60+% of his passes. He almost has about 1,200 yards passing already. I mean, there's really not a lot to knock him for. And I'm not saying I'm looking to knock him. It's just like it is what it is. He's progressing. He's being a quarterback. He's learning how to quarterback differently and more effectively and more efficiently. And with all that being said, it's just going to take time. So I'll say this. I think by the time we get to the time we play Minnesota again, I want to see him not look the same way he looked September 8th. I want on November 16th, and here, I'll tell you what, that's my birthday, November 16th. Anybody want to drop some presents? I'm here for that. But on November 16th, if the Bears want to give me a present, and Mr. Caleb Williams, if you, as a fellow Scorpion, because he's also a Scorpio, in our month of November, I want to see you look better on November 16th than you did September 8th. And by that time, I think that's the type of stretch we should really see the growth and the maturation in terms of him understanding himself more in this offense and how to be more effective. And we saw some of that last year. If you take Jaden Daniels, with Washington, right around that mid-November, we really saw him hit a big stretch where he was being really effective. So, and we're seeing Drake May do really well now with New England. And we're seeing Michael Penix. Bo Nix already had a pretty good year last year and seems to be solid this year. That draft class, it's early. I'm all for wait, take a breath. Don't start beating your chest about things. But this draft or that draft class, Caleb's draft class, may very well down the line become compared to the 83 quarterback draft class that had Jim Kelly and Marino. It could be. I'm saying, look at the success of all these guys. That's 6 quarterbacks in the first round. And right now, I don't think any of them are a bust by any stretch of the means at all. Yeah, they've all shown some stretch of effectiveness, especially when they've had solid coaching and good players around them. Penix looks, he's getting better. He's still rough here and there. He's going to make some missed throws and stuff, but you can't tell me the Falcons didn't look good Monday night as well. Obviously Jaden Daniels went to the conference finals last year. It still looks like good. By no means a bust. Drake May is looking like the real deal for certain in New England.
He's looking a lot better this year than he did last year. And last year he didn't look bad.
Right, exactly. And then you throw in JJ's probably the only one who hasn't really played. And, so, I'm at least going to give him 2 years, this year and next year before you really, make some. And then keep in mind all the talent around him and the coach he has. Unless he's just garbage, he'll be fine. And I don't think he's garbage by any stretch of the means. So yeah, this draft class may very well, it may even surpass 83 class. But I think at least it can be considered on par, as we look down the line in about 10 years.
Talking about this offensive line, I gave him a lot of shit the other leading up to the game. We spent a lot of money on the 2 guards in the center, and we outrushed the NFL's leading team, and that was our Achilles heel, was not running the ball and stopping the run. And those 3, along with DeAndre Swift, said, "Here, hold our beer. we got some work to do." Talk to me about the change from before the bye week to after the bye week with those 3, and dude who came back, and that's Darnell Wright, who played like a monster in this game. Talk to me about that offensive line and how important it is, and can they sustain that type of intensity and performance moving forward?
I think they can, because they're starting to develop an identity now. They're starting to understand who one another is. You're getting the young guys, are seeming like they're starting to settle in. Like you're starting to figure out who your tackles are going to be. And Darnell playing, with a messed up elbow, and he played phenomenally well, I thought, especially in the run game, just being physical, being athletic. And I think that's the thing. You're part of the reason why you had, the tackles that you have because they're athletic. You know, you've got young athletic guys, and I think Benedict's better at being, you know, better pass protection. He's better with his lateral agility. He's better with his balance. I think he's a more natural fit on the left side than the right side. And I think that the interior of the offensive line, they're veterans. It's just a matter of really sinking in and like, okay, what are we doing? How do we want to do it? The timing with the quarterback, you know, being under center, how we're going to run, and then learning how to better attack with the running backs that you have and learning what they can and can't do. Again, a lot of this was the head coach and the coaching staff learning what these guys can and cannot do. What are they better at? What are they not so good at? So we cannot put them in these positions that make them less effective. And you saw a couple of those toss plays were just helping DeAndre Swift immensely because he's out in space. He's got a running start. He's the kind of guy that can make a quick move. He's, no pun intended, although pun easily can be attributed to his name. He's a swift runner. He's not a physical runner. He can be physical at times, but that's not his game. But his agility, his athleticism, his ability to be swift in terms of fleet-footed and running and getting him in space, those are things that work well with him. And it's something that Johnson should have probably known for at least having him for at least 1 year in Detroit before he was let go. But learning how to allow your blockers to get out there in space, having your wide receivers and tight ends realize, you know, how to not be in each other's way when you're out there, you know, stringing out blocks. So you can do enough so that you can create a crease so your guy can get through. You know, before they're trying to run off tackle, it just wasn't really working as much. You need to get him in space, so that worked better. Monangai, he's decent. He's still not seeing his vision at the NFL level needs to get better. There are times where he doesn't get as many yards as he could have gotten, but he goes forward. I like that. And Roschon, he's off the milk carton now. We did find him.
He was there.
Yeah, one carry for 6 yards.
With his Gazoo hat.
Yeah, I heard it earlier. I was rolling with the Gazoo. It's like, hello, dum-dum. But, you know, Roschon, it's like we need to get him involved as well because he had one carry for 6 yards. And, you know, they go on 3 and 1 or 4th and 1, and they do this, you know, elaborate, you know, pass play that gets batted down. It's like Roschon just ran for 6 yards like a couple of handoffs ago. Like, why not just go back to that, you know? So that should be development, but part of that, the success, and you said the line, to get back to your question, I just think the line is getting better, and you have, I don't want to say the right people in the right places right now. And when you have that, when that's established, you can have a baseline, like, okay, this is what we are, this is who we are, this is who we have, and this is what these guys can do. And now let's build on that. And we're starting to see it. The running game was starting to build a little bit even the week before, you know, prior to the bye week. It was building a little bit week before, you know, and Swift, you need another running back. I don't think him throughout the whole season, I don't know if he's going to hold up as much as you run him. So you're going to get the other guys need to get involved so he doesn't get the wear and tear is what I'm saying. But yeah, the offensive line, man, I was impressed with that. Doing again, the pass block has been pretty solid. That's been getting better each week too. And Caleb understanding, you know, getting rid of the ball helps your pass blocking too. But in the one sack he got, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, Caleb, you know, at some point get rid of the ball. He kind of hemmed himself in. And the other time he was rolling to his left, and he probably should have thrown it away. I think he thought he saw something. He tried to square his body and throw, and he got lucky and to get hurt because he got knocked clean out of bounds. But other than that, man, I think the offensive line is starting to play consistently. And that's something that we haven't been able to say for about a good year and a half. Outside of run blocking, we haven't been able to say that. Right now, we're seeing a better balance of run and pass blocking and that consistency because it's built through some kind of sense of continuity. And for us, continuity is 2 weeks in a row. So having the same lineup for 2 weeks in a row, imagine what you can do and how much more amazing it could be if they're in the same lineup as there for in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Man, if they are, wow, knock on wood, this run game is going to be really good. It was good. Yeah, it was good on Monday. It's going to continue to get better. And I love the noticeable improvements every week. All right. And I know progress is not linear, and Caleb's not going to throw for more than 252 yards this year. this week, and then more next week, and more. I just need to see. I just need to continue to see, because I've seen it, that there's growth of the one thing that I'm not seeing simple twists by defensive linemen freeing up a guy coming right up the middle anymore. I didn't see that. All right. Other great games leading up to this, we did simple twists, tight end and ET stun and tackle stun, or end coming all the way, looping all the way around, coming through free. I didn't see that, and that's the part we're talking about. That's the growth we're talking about. That's the chemistry, the familiarity, and I like that. Talk to me about that defense, man. We were they were the number one rushing team in the NFL, and they stuffed them. First, we got to tip our hat, and I will, to Dennis Allen, because he came up with the game plan. But at the end, when it's all said and done, the players are the ones that got to play. Talk to me about Dennis Allen and putting together this game plan, but then the way that the players executed to stop that run game, to control. I wouldn't say stop it, to control that run game.
Contain. Yeah, contain. Well, I'll tell you what makes a really good coach? Healthy players. having some players back. It makes a difference. I can game plan some stuff, but I got some people to game plan around. And again, I think, and I was going to say this is Dennis Allen, but it's a coaching staff overall. And again, keep in mind, it's a whole new staff, so everyone's learning everyone else. But what I like about the staff is they are making adjustments. And what I like about what I've seen with this team overall, I'm not seeing a regression. That's a good point. There was some tough starts. Detroit game was a nadir of lowness, low point, low nadir, so to speak. But we're not seeing a regression. And even guys that were really struggling, Stevenson, he's been playing better and more consistent. And yeah, no one's going to be perfect. You're going to have mistakes here and there. But what I like about it is that these guys, the coaching staff and the players, it seems as though, I hate to say, they're all on the same page, but at least they're reading from the same book, and you have everyone working in concert with one another. So to me, I believe, and I'm not there, I'm on the sidelines, but I believe the coaches are listening to the players, and the players are adhering to what the coaches are telling them, instructing them to do, before the game with the game plan. And then as the game is progressing, whatever the coaches are seeing and the players are seeing, they're communicating, and it's working effectively. And yeah, they didn't stop Washington from running, but they contained them. They did enough so that they did have to make some, long third down passes. And granted, there was some big plays because you got some talented people on the other side. Jaden Daniels is no joke. He's a very good downfield passer, accurate downfield passer. We saw that. But again, the defense sticks with it. We saw it on the Brisker interception. He was beat. If Jaden makes a better pass, that's a touchdown. Yeah. But he didn't give up on but Brisker didn't give up on the play. And it was a big turnaround. And, if you can say that was a game clincher to some degree, or a game decider. That's another 6 points another 6-7 points they don't have. So, Dennis Allen, along with, Ben Johnson and all the other coaches on staff, they're teaching, they're instructing, and the players are developing. And that's what I was going to say too. The second thing, aside from lack of progression,
was that D word? What?
Players are developing. Yes, the players are developing.
Front door.
I know, right? Don't let that word back out. But yeah, man, they're starting to develop. And I say the players. It's not so much. And I just got sick of it. Here, we got to develop Caleb. We got to get the head coaching to develop. Dude, I get it. It's the quarterback. I understand that, but it's everybody else. You can't forget about everybody else. Yeah, they all need to develop, especially your younger players. I want Colston on the field more so he can develop more. Clearly, you can see he's got the athletic talent. He's going to be if you look at some of the lean tight end pass catchers like Kincaid from Buffalo, Trey McBride, he can be as effective as all those guys. Tyler Warren is doing really good, in Indianapolis, but you got to be on the field, so you can develop. But you're starting to see the offensive linemen develop. Benedict, you're seeing Wright, who had a kind of an off year, bad year last year, or setback last year. You're starting to see him play better. To play as well as he did with a bad elbow means that you're understanding what you can do, what you need to do so you can do it. Obviously, you see Luther Burden developing, learning how to run her routes better. On defense, look, people may not like Edmonds. I do. I think is he the best middle linebacker in the world, but he had 13 tackles, man. He's got 30 solo tackles this season. I think 12 assists along with that. So you're talking, he's in the 40, total tackle range, and he's all over the field, man. He's making plays and he's running with, purpose. I don't see guys being purposeless or lost. So yeah, the Shawn Wright, he's been developing. I mean, a lot of guys, Sewell has developed, so we're seeing these players start to really, find themselves within the structure of the organization, and the organization is finding ways to make them effective and a part of the team. So yeah, man, I feel good about Dennis Allen. I feel good about the game plan they had against, a Washington team that could be problematic, especially when you have a young talent like Jaden Daniels, who can beat you with his feet and with his arm. Like we talked about earlier, a lot of the running yards, they get 124 yards they gave up, probably about 40, 50 of those ish.
51.
Were from Dayton, so
51. He had 51 yards rushing, and take those away. Now you're looking at 70 yards rushing. That's a hell of a day at the office.
Right. And then you add the yards per carry, it probably knocks it, it's probably somewhere in the 4.3 to 4.7 range or whatever, which isn't great, but it's not 5, 6, 7. It's not basically almost 60% of a first down every time you hand the ball off. And when you contain the run, even if you don't stop it, when you contain it, you're forcing the team to maybe have to pass. Mm-hmm. So you give an opportunity for your ball hawking defense to do the things that it can do. We got 3 turnovers, yesterday. So yeah, man, it's and I think that's what second or third week in a row they've had 3 or more turnovers.
Third
game in a row.
They had 4 the previous 2 games and then 3 on Monday.
Right. Yeah,
so that shit don't happen by luck either.
No, it doesn't, because you're creating an atmosphere. Now you expect it. We saw the Lovie Smith Bears. If those of us who are old enough to remember, you saw it back, Buddy Ryan's team and those Bears from the mid 80s, early 90s. But we were seeing it right now with Dennis Allen's team defense, and it doesn't just happen by accident. It's a mindset. Now you don't want to completely do that and miss on tackles, because you're just trying to force a turnover all the time. And I don't think they're doing that. You have to be judicious when you go about trying to force a turnover. And granted, hey, Jaden Daniels, he fumbled the ball. He lost it. Some of that might have been his eyes might have been diverted too. We didn't talk about that. He might have been seeing something because of how, the defense was potentially penetrating, that he was trying to do something quicker than he normally would have. So those are things, because you create that atmosphere, you create that environment to where the other team might make a mistake. That's part of, causing turnovers too. You're living rent free in their head. They're in your mind, or you're in their mind, and they're overthinking, or they're distracted with their thinking, or whatever the case might be. That also leads to them making mistakes, where it leads to you creating turnovers.
Guys, we're joined by Glynn Morgan. He's Bears draft analyst and co-host of Easy Smoking GS, and we're talking Chicago Bears football here on Shawn Sierra Sports on Sports Zone Chicago. Talk to me about them DBs. Jaquan Brisker, nice pick. Kyler Gordon was back. He got burned for a touchdown. There was a blown coverage that had a receiver wide open for a touchdown. But talk to me about how you felt that overall the DBs played Sunday or Monday, excuse me.
Right.
In our win.
Well, I'll say this: what I like about our DBs, all of them, they're all committed to making tackles. Not one of these guys, runs away or kind of goes in shyly trying to make a tackle. They go in, they commit to making the hit. And we got some big corners, and Stevenson and Wright are some big corners, and so they can deliver some heat a little bit with their tackles. There's a physicality to the secondary that I like. Byard may not be the biggest hitter, but he's a sure tackler. He sticks his nose right in the middle there to make some
He's very crafty too. And he's crafty.
Yeah.
He's a cagey veteran, dude. That's what happens when you've been in the league long enough and you're starting to slow down just a step, maybe a step and a half, but your mind sees shit happening before it happens. Right. So you're able to take off a second sooner that you would rely on your speed more back in the day. but now you just see it developing and you're able to get a better jump because you see it. You understand the game so much. And I really, really, really like Kevin Byron. I'm a big fan of his, especially in that back there in that secondary. Like him a lot.
Yeah, that's real slick. You ageist. Way to call him old. I mean, God. I mean, how many different ways do you call a guy an old man? I mean, Jesus Christ. Pull up the punches, Tyson. Jesus. But yes, you're right. All those things. He's a cagey vet. But yeah, it's knowing where to be, and knowing what you can do and understanding, your leverage. You don't take a bull head on. You get it by the legs or get it from the side or whatever the case might be.
Yep.
So you can still stay in there to compete. But everyone on that secondary play well, and they're going to make mistakes. And when the guys are in and out like they have been because they haven't been healthy, you haven't had the consistency because you haven't had the continuity, with everyone back there, that sometimes, guys they're misreading something, or they're not reading it they're not reading at the same time, the same way. So yeah, that happened. And look, man, it's not easy playing defense in NFL, especially in the secondary these days. Passing plays are extremely complex, and you have to account for everything, for all this motion and running backs out the backfield, getting a head start. You got all these speed guys in the slot. You got these tight ends running out here like wide receivers, and you got to stop the run, all this stuff. So there's a lot happening all at once. Mm-hmm. So when you're not in the mix week in and week out, your timing might be off, or you might affect someone else's timing because they're not used to you being back there either, or whatever your duties are, they may not have been what they were the week before because you're playing a different position or you're being asked to do something differently. Now that Gordon's back, X player doesn't have to do this and that. He just has to do this. You're expecting Gordon to do that, but Gordon's not ready to do that yet because he's still working on the this, if you can follow my logic there. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's just a timing thing, but the secondary to me is always, and by always, I'm saying the last maybe 3 seasons, has been the deepest and the most consistent and best unit to me, whether it's offense or defense, and I don't think any differently of that right now. I think other units are becoming better. I think the linebacking crew is definitely solid. I think the defensive line is starting to flesh out a little bit. I think the offensive line, you're starting to see things come together. I think the running back room needs more help. I think the receiving room is probably on potential right up there with the secondary. And I think the quarterback room is solid. So yeah, man, they're not in special teams. Let's not forget about special teams. I think, getting Moody was a good get, obviously. The punter's been doing, consistently well. Special teams in terms of, returns on punts and kickoffs isn't spectacular, but, they're not hurting you. So I think this team, there's no discernible weakness. There's still a lot of rough edges that have to be smoothed out. There's still mistakes that have to be lessened. There's still more explosive plays to be had, but I don't see any discernible weakness on any unit on this team. So again, maybe running back, but again, that's more of a depth issue, not so much a talent issue, I think. So yeah, man, the arrow's pointing up. It's not, screaming to the top just yet, but it's a nice steady incline, and I like that. I like a nice steady. As an old man, I like a nice steady incline. Don't have you run straight up the hill, man. Let me go up there.
My chicken's gonna go out.
Yeah. Let me matriculate. I just need to matriculate. I don't need to run fast. Let me just matriculate up the hill, and that's what the Bears are doing. The Bears are matriculating at a nice steady pace, and it's a forward pace. And again, this stretch of games, as you alluded to earlier, Shawn, are going to be really important in terms of developing continued confidence, stacking wins, and getting to a situation to where you can begin to dictate things in a division, which hasn't been something that the Bears have been able to do pretty much since the 2018 season.
I'm looking forward to, I'm liking Ben Johnson. Do you see any change in him? How does he go? Because it's his first year. He's got to deal with success as well. It's not just the players that have to deal with success. He's got to deal with success as well. How do you think he's going to navigate that? Do you think he's going to be able to stay level-headed, not get little too big for his britches, especially if this offense starts to continues to go. Because here's what I think this offense is gonna take that steady improvement, and then there's gonna be 1 week where they just blow the damn doors off the shit. It's gonna be like Caleb will have like 400-yard passing, 4 or 5 tutties, that whole thing. And how do you think Ben Johnson is going to deal with that type of success?
Yeah,
when it happens?
That's a really good question, Shawn, because the Bear fan, the optimist, which I don't always seem to come across when I do these shows, but the Bear fans, the optimists, I like to believe that he has a reservedness about him that won't allow his britches to get too big. But then I realized too, he's an offensive coordinator, and they always want to do something to highlight their acumen, their genius, their creativity. Their genius, their creativity. And that's a question. Can he divorce the OC enough of himself to invest enough in the head coach that he needs to be? Right now, I think that's down the line because the success isn't there yet. When I say success, I mean the overreaching success to where you start, thumping your chest kind of success. That's not there yet. And I think at his core, and this is where I'm going to, as I answer this question, what I believe from what I can discern that I've seen of him, at his core, he's a pragmatist. And I think he is a person that holds not only everybody else accountable, I think he holds himself accountable. There are a lot of times on the sidelines, they'll cut to him and you'll see he'll be displeased about something that happens. But then if they stick with someone like another second or two longer, I already see him moving on to how can I make this better? So he doesn't stay stuck in stupid. He doesn't stay stuck in the negativity. He is like, how can I do better? And I think that's his mantra, better, best thing. I think he lives by it. I think that's why it comes across so authentically, cheesy to most people, but I think still authentically. He's not disingenuous. If he were a disingenuous person, it's still too early for players to know that. But I think if he were disingenuous, you hear a lot more tongue in cheek than the players actually really, being effusive about playing for him. So I believe overall, the head coach in him, there's going to be enough humbling situations as a head coach where at least, for the next couple of years where he's going to learn like, okay, I have to do this better. I'm learning from this. He's learning too. And I think he's aware of that as well. And I think he also aware there's times where I put them in the wrong spot. I put them in a bad spot. And so we're seeing the adjustments. When you don't see adjustments, i.e. Nagy, that's when you're stuck in, it's not me, it's you. And I don't think he's at that point. I think he's at, okay, that didn't work. How can we make this work better? And that's where I want my coach. I want my coach to be, how can I make it better? I don't want to stay stuck in the root. Everything, like it's my way or the highway. To a certain point when it comes to respect, yeah, but when it comes to game planning and advising and winning, no, you've got to be as mercurial as Chicago weather. You've got to be able to adapt, change, adjust so you can progress. And I think that's where he is at his core. I think the Bears really got a really good coach here. And I said this to somebody else not too long ago. I don't know if I've ever called any Bear head coach in my 50 plus years of being an observer of this fine sport. That's my guy in terms of the Chicago Bears. Like, that's my head coach. I'm borderline saying like, man, this is my coach, man. Like T.O., that's my quarterback, man. I'm gonna say that about Ben Johnson. I really like, I can see this guy being here for the next 15, 20 years if he so chooses. I can see him. They can be something that we haven't had here. We've had a couple of times with Ditka and the Lovey, 9, 10 years type kind of deal. But towards the tail end, you're like, I don't know if I really want him here. I don't think we'll get tired of Ben Johnson. And he's so young too, I think that helps out with that as well. So yeah, man, I feel good about saying this guy. I think this guy's my coach. I think he's a Bears coach. I think he's someone that the whole fan base can get behind, and the organization, I know they feel real good about it right now. I really, you can see how big Poles is cheesing back there in the locker room. He's just like, yeah, you saved my job. Oh, literally. You saved my job. Yeah. Yeah.
I get to make more millions for more years.
Right. Yeah, I think Ben Johnson's 39, or he'll be 39 this year.
King Book World. I think he's 39. Yeah. Hey, real quick question. Last one before we let you go. Your thoughts. Is this DJ's last year as a Chicago Bear?
Before the bye, I was like, you need to trade him. And not because I dislike him. I do. I like him a lot. I just felt like if you're not using him, let's try and get something. After what he did last Monday night, I'm like, that's saying he wants to stay. And I think that's a big part of it, him wanting to be here, and the body language isn't what it was last year. So yeah, once Caleb starts throwing to him, but all that being said, it may very well be. I think it depends on what kind of draft picks the Bears are going to find themselves. How many top picks in the first 100 they may find themselves. What free
I was
agent?
thinking one-on-one. I'm thinking the Raiders or Cincinnati, because both of their edge rushers are. Trey Henderson, I think, isn't he a 1-year deal?
Too much money in one position. Yeah, too much money in one position, though. But
that position is behind quarterback and left tackle. That's the position that's going to, I feel, is most important.
Oh no, I agree with you. I think we just paying too many people.
You need a quarterback. You got to block the quarterback. And you got to stack the quarterback.
I agree. Well, you need to let one of those guys go then that we have, because I don't want to dump like
goodbye, Dio.
Yeah, I don't want to dump 40% of the resources into one position, especially when there could be some younger cats out there in the draft potentially.
You mean like drafted with the first round pick that we had the last couple of years? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that. but yeah, it may be his last year. It may be.
Yeah, and he's my favorite. I'm wearing. I have a Roma Dunze jersey. I haven't worn it yet because I love me some DJ Moore, man. That dude is dope, man. Yeah, he's a baller. He's the first real number one wide receiver we had since Brandon Marshall, and he's a lot faster than Brandon Marshall. So, but hey, Glynn, great stuff, my man. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor though, let everybody know where they can find you and your work online.
Hey, from time to time, you can find me on fine shows like this one with Shawn, Sierra, and everything's Sports Zone. Also, Easy Smoking GM podcast, and on weekly segments on Stacey King's Give Me the Hot Sauce podcast. I appear on there weekly as well. Oh, nice. Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. All right, bro. We'll talk soon, man. And I'll hit you up. I'm gonna hit you up a little. For sure. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you for sharing the platform with me. Everybody out there in cyberspace and the chat, appreciate y'all as well. And bear down, man. It's good times. Good times ahead. Bear down, baby. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate you. All right, bro. I'll let you. Guys, that's Glynn Morgan, Bears analyst, man. Got me fired up, baby. Got me fired up. But listen, let's not forget this Sunday, branding iron. All right, Chicago Bears watch party. Be there, be square. It's going to be one heck of a time. I got to break. I got to get out of here. I have to break. I have to go pick up the warden from CrossFit. All right, listen, have a phenomenal day. Hippie and nice, a little rainy, but that's okay. Beautiful fall weather. So from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. You guys have a phenomenal day. Your boy is out.
Come on, raise the bass.